Good morning, students. Today's class we are going to learn about electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation. Now, this electron transport chain occurs in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Now, this is the mitochondria, outer mitochondrial membrane, inner mitochondrial membrane, and mitochondrial matrix. Outer mitochondrial membrane, inner mitochondrial membrane, and mitochondrial matrix. Now, electron transport chain occurs in the inner mitochondrial membrane. We are magnifying this inner mitochondrial membrane. Now, from here to here, this is the inner mitochondrial membrane. From here to here, this is the inner mitochondrial membrane. Now, for the inner mitochondrial membrane, what is the space outside to the inner mitochondrial membrane? The space is called as intermembrane space. For the inner mitochondrial membrane, the space outside the inner mitochondrial membrane is called as intermembrane space. And the space that is present towards inside of the inner mitochondrial membrane is called as matrix. This is the matrix. This is the mitochondrial matrix. The space that is present towards inside the inner membrane is called as mitochondrial matrix. Now, inner mitochondrial membrane, intermembrane space, mitochondrial matrix. Now, already we know that in the mitochondrial matrix, now this is the mitochondrial matrix. Now, in this mitochondrial matrix, which cycle will take place? Krebs cycle will take place. Now, as a result of the Krebs cycle, now Krebs cycle is the part of aerobic respiration. As the part of the aerobic respiration, the NADH is forming, FADH2 is also forming. The formed NADH and FADH will undergo oxidation in the electron transport chain. So, we are going to see the oxidation of NADH and FADH2 in the electron transport chain. Now, the electron transport chain occurs in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Krebs cycle already happened in the mitochondrial matrix. Now, in the inner mitochondrial membrane, the electron transport chain is occurring. Now, onto the inner mitochondrial membrane, 5 protein complexes are present. These are called as protein complex 1, protein complex 2, protein complex 3, protein complex 4, and protein complex 5. The name of the protein complex 1 is called as NADH oxidase. The name of the protein complex 1 is called as NADH oxidase. The name of the protein complex 2 is called as FADH2 oxidase or succinate oxidase. The name of the protein complex 2 is FADH2 oxidase or succinate oxidase. Next, protein complex 3. The name of the protein complex 3 is cytochrome C reductase. Cytochrome C reductase. The name of the protein complex 3 is called as cytochrome C reductase. Next, the name of the protein complex 4. This is the protein complex 4. The name of the protein complex 4 is cytochrome C oxidase. Cytochrome C oxidase. Next, finally, protein complex 5. The name of the protein complex 5 is called as ATP synthase or F0F1 complex. The name of the protein complex 5 is called as ATP synthase or F0F1 complex. Now, how this oxidation of NADH and FADH2 is taking place means, first let us see the oxidation of NADH. NADH oxidation. What is meant by oxidation? Oxidation is the process of loss of electrons and protons by the substrate. So, as NADH is undergoing oxidation, NADH2 loses electrons and protons. Now, NADH loses electrons and protons, forming NAD+. The formed electrons and protons, first of all, the formed electrons will travel through the inner mitochondrial membrane. How this traveling is occurring? Electrons are traveling like this. Electrons are traveling like this. So, as electrons are traveling through the inner mitochondrial membrane, the transportation is called as electron transport chain, and these electrons are transported to the inner mitochondrial membrane. Now, the electrons formed as a result of the oxidation of NADH2 are first taken by the protein complex 1. The name of the protein complex 1 is NADH oxidase. The electrons are taken by the complex 1. This complex gives the electrons to complex 3. What is the name of the complex 3? Cytochrome C reductase. Now, complex 1 takes electrons from NADH2 and gives to complex 3. Now, how the complex 1 is giving electrons to complex 3? Through the mobile carrier called as ubiquinone. Ubiquinone is the electron mobile carrier connecting complex 1 and complex 3. Ubiquinone is the electron mobile carrier connecting complex 1 and complex 3. So, complex 1 taking the electron from NADH and giving to complex 3 through ubiquinone. So, ubiquinone is connecting complex 1 and complex 3. Now, first after the electrons taken by the complex 1, it gives electrons to ubiquinone. The ubiquinone gets reduced. The reduced ubiquinone gives electrons to complex 3. Now, the complex 3 gets reduced and ubiquinone becomes oxidized. Now, the electrons are with the complex 3. Now, the electrons are with the complex 3. Now, the name of the complex 3 is cytochrome C reductase. This complex 3 is made up of cytochromes. Which type of cytochromes? Cytochrome B and cytochrome C1. The complex 3 is made up of two types of cytochromes, cytochrome B and cytochrome C1. Now, cytochrome B and cytochrome C1 are making the complex 3. Now, the complex 3 giving electrons to complex 4. The complex 3 giving electrons to complex 4. Now, how the complex 3 is giving electrons to complex 4? Through cytochrome C. Through cytochrome C. So, cytochrome C is another electron mobile carrier. Now, ubiquinone is one type of electron mobile carrier. Cytochrome C is another type of electron mobile carrier. The difference between these two is ubiquinone. Now, see the position of ubiquinone. Ubiquinone is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Now, see the position of cytochrome C. Cytochrome C is present in the intermembrane space. That is the difference between these two. So, in the electron transport chain, there are two electron mobile carriers are present. The two electron mobile carriers is one is ubiquinone and another one is the cytochrome C. The difference between these two is ubiquinone is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane and cytochrome C is present in the intermembrane space. That is the difference. Now, ubiquinone is connecting complex 1 and complex 3. Cytochrome C is connecting the complex 3 and complex 4. Now, the electrons from complex 3 are given to complex 4 through cytochrome C. What is the name of the complex 4? The name of the complex 4 is called as cytochrome C oxidase. The name of the complex 4 is called as cytochrome C oxidase. Now, cytochrome 4 is made up of cytochrome A and cytochrome A3. Cytochrome A and cytochrome A3 are making the complex 4. The complex 4 is made of cytochrome A and cytochrome A3. Now, after receiving the electrons by the complex 4, the complex 4 gets reduced because of taking of electrons. The complex 4 gets reduced. The reduced complex 4 gives electrons to oxygen, molecular oxygen. That is, ultimately the electrons from the oxidation of NADH2 gives to the molecular oxygen. So, after giving the electrons to molecular oxygen by the complex 4, water is formed. Water is formed. Now, whatever the oxygen which we are breathing, during respiration is ultimately used in the electron transport chain. I repeat, whatever the oxygen which we breathe is ultimately used in the electron transport chain. The oxygen is not utilized in the glycolysis, the oxygen is not utilized in the Krebs cycle, but the oxygen is utilized in the electron transport chain. So, what is the role of oxygen in the electron transport chain? The oxygen is an electron acceptor. The role of oxygen during respiration of plants and respiration of animals is to accept the electrons. The role of the oxygen is it is the electron acceptor during the respiration of plants and animals. That is the important point. Now, okay, electrons are transported and ultimately given to the molecular oxygen to form water molecules. Now, what about the protons? Now, because of the transportation of electrons through the inner mitochondrial membrane, the protons are moving from mitochondrial matrix to the intermembrane space. I repeat, during the transportation of electrons through the inner mitochondrial membrane, the protons are moving from mitochondrial matrix to the intermembrane space. This movement of protons from matrix to the intermembrane space is called as proton translocation. Why? Because the proton is changing the location from mitochondrial matrix to the intermembrane space. As the protons is changing their location from mitochondrial matrix to the intermembrane space, this is called as proton translocation. Now these protons are translocated from matrix to membrane. So through which is through these protons are moving through the protein complex 1. Now when electrons from NADH2 is moving through the protein complex 1, the protons are also translocated from mitochondrial matrix to the intermembrane space. Now for every two electrons moving through the protein complex 1, there is a translocation of 4 protons. Next, here also, just like that of one of the complex 1 allowing the passage of protons, the complex 3 is also allowing the passage of protons. So when 2 electrons are passing through the complex 3, the complex 3 facilitates the translocation of 4 protons. I repeat, for every 2 electrons passing through the complex 3, there is the translocation of 4 protons by the complex 3. Next, complex 4. Now, for every transportation of 2 electrons by the complex 4, there is the translocation of 2 protons by the complex 4. I repeat, like that of complex 1 and complex 3, for every 2 electrons transporting through the complex 4, there is the translocation of 2 protons by the complex 4. So here, complex 1 and complex 3, for every 2 electrons, they are translocating 4 protons and 4 protons. But the complex 4, for every 2 electrons, the complex 4 is translocating only 2 protons. Why not 4 protons? Means here the remaining 2 protons are given to the molecular oxygen for the formation of water. Why the complex 4, unlike that of complex 1 and complex 3, not transporting 4 protons, only translocating 2 protons means because the remaining 2 protons are given to the molecular oxygen for the formation of water. Now, because of the translocation of protons from matrix to the intermembrane space, in the intermembrane space, the proton concentration increases. 4 plus 4 plus 2, that is totally 10 protons are accumulated in the intermembrane space for the oxidation of each molecule of NADH. Now, this increased concentration of protons make the protons to return back into the matrix. Now, the increased concentration of protons makes the protons to return back into the mitochondrial matrix. Now, these protons are returning back into the mitochondrial matrix. These protons are totally how many protons? 10 protons. 4 plus 4, 8 plus 2, that is equal to totally 10 protons. Now these 10 protons return back into the mitochondrial matrix. They move through the proton channel called as F0 F1 complex. Now this is the complex 5. The complex 5 is also called F0 F1 complex. It is also called as ATP synthase. Why the complex 5 is called ATP synthase means when these 10 protons moving through the F0 F1 complex, there is the synthesis of ATP. And ATP, as ATP is synthesizing the complex 5 is called as ATP synthase. So here how many ATPs are synthesized means for every 3 protons passing through the F0 F1 complex, there is a synthesis of 1 ATP. Now, how many totally? 10 protons. For every 10 protons passing through the ATP synthase or F0 F1 complex or the fifth complex, there is the synthesis of 3 ATP. There is the synthesis of 3 ATP. That means from the oxidation of one molecule of NADH, there is an accumulation of 10 protons. That means one NADH on NADH undergo oxidation, resulting in the synthesis of 3 ATP. Resulting in the synthesis of 3 ATP. So, from the oxidation of one molecule of NADH, there is a synthesis of 3 ATP. One molecule of NADH, there is a synthesis of 3 ATP. Let us see about the oxidation of FADH2. Oxidation of FADH2. Now, FADH2 is oxidized in the complex 2. FADH2 undergo oxidation in the complex 2, not in the complex 1. FADH2, FAD plus electrons plus protons. Now, these electrons are the released electrons from the oxidation of FADH2 are taken by the complex 2. Complex 2 gives the electrons to ubiquinone. Now, what about the protons? The protons are there in the mitochondrial matrix. Now, because of the oxidation of FADH2, FAD plus 2 electrons and 2 protons are formed. 2 protons are formed. Now, these 2 electrons are taken by complex 2. The complex 2 gets reduced. The complex 2 gives the 2 electrons to the complex 3. That means the electrons from complex 2 are given to the complex 3 through ubiquinone. That means ubiquinone is the electron mobile carrier that is connecting complex 1 and complex 3 during NADH oxidation, as well as the ubiquinone also connects complex 2 and complex 3 during the FADH2 oxidation. So, this is very important. The difference between ubiquinone and cytochrome C is ubiquinone is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane, cytochrome C is present in the intermembrane space. This is the first difference. The second difference is ubiquinone connects complex 1 and complex 3, and ubiquinone also connects complex 2 and complex 3. Okay, ubiquinone is connecting complex 1 and complex 3 as well as complex 2 and complex 3, but cytochrome C is connecting only complex 3 and complex 4. These are the two important differences between the ubiquinone and cytochrome C. So as this point is very important for the entrance point of view, I am once again repeating, ubiquinone is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane, cytochrome C is present in the intermembrane space. Ubiquinone connects complex 1 and complex 3 as well as complex 2 and complex 3. Now, cytochrome C is connecting complex 3 and complex 4. Now, the electrons from the complex 2 is given to the complex 3 by ubiquinone. Now, these electrons are given to the complex 4 by cytochrome C, and ultimately the electrons are given to molecular oxygen. So, this is the electron transportation. Now, when these electrons are transporting, the protons are translocated. Now, these protons, during the oxidation of FADH2, complex 1 is not involved. During the oxidation of FADH2, complex 1 is not involved. I repeat, during the oxidation of FADH2, complex 1 is not involved. As complex 1 is not involved, whatever the 4 protons that has to translocate by the complex 1 is not translocated. So why the 4 protons are not translocated? Here the complex 1 is not involved. The complex 1 is not involved. So as complex 1 is not involved, here no translocation of protons, not involved. So no protons translocated, no protons. Next, these electrons are from complex 2. Now complex 2 cannot able to translocate protons because complex 2 is present up to here only. Complex 2 will not translocate protons. Next, complex 3. Complex 3 will translocate 4 protons. When electrons from complex 2 are given to complex 3 give to complex 4. Because of this electron transportation, 4 protons are translocated. Now complex 4 is translocating 2 protons. That means finally, when there is an oxidation of FADH2, there is no involvement of complex 1. So complex 1 does not translocate protons, but there is an involvement of complex 3 and complex 4. Because of these two involvements, 4 plus 2 protons are translocated. So ultimately, how many protons are translocated because of the oxidation of one molecule of FADH2? 6 protons are translocated. So for every oxidation of FADH2, there is a translocation of 6 protons. There is a translocation of 6 protons. These 6 protons move through the mitochondrial matrix. Because of increased concentration of protons, these increased concentration of protons move back into the mitochondrial matrix. Now, when the 6 protons are moving, for 1 proton, for every 3 protons, 1 ATP. For every 6 protons, there is the synthesis of 2 ATP. That means 1 molecule of FADH2 oxidation results in the translocation of 6 protons. These 6 protons, when are moving through the ATP synthase, resulting in the synthesis of 2 ATP. And 1 molecule of NADH, when oxidized, 1 molecule of NADH oxidizing, resulting in the synthesis of 3 ATP. Because NADH, 1 molecule of NADH results in the translocation of 10 protons. So this is very important. 1 molecule of FADH2 oxidation resulting in the synthesis of 2 ATP. And 1 molecule of NADH when oxidized resulting in the synthesis of 3 ATP. This is very important. Note on these points. 1 molecule of FADH2 oxidation resulting in the synthesis of 2 ATP. 1 molecule of NADH oxidation results in the synthesis of 3 ATP. This is very important. Next, coming to the oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation means, what is meant by phosphorylation? Addition of phosphate to the ADP is called as phosphorylation. Oxidation means this addition of phosphate is occurring because of the oxidation of either NADH or FADH. This is called oxidative phosphorylation. Now, chemiosmotic hypothesis. The concept of chemiosmotic hypothesis was proposed by Peter Mitchell. The concept of chemiosmotic hypothesis was proposed by Peter Mitchell. What Peter Mitchell told, according to the chemiosmotic hypothesis, when there is an increased concentration of protons in the intermembrane space, in order to balance the proton levels in the intermembrane space and mitochondrial matrix, the protons move back into the mitochondrial membrane. During this movement, ATP is synthesized. This is called as chemiosmotic hypothesis. Once again, I am repeating. Chemiosmotic hypothesis means when there is an proton gradient established. What is meant by proton gradient? Unequal distribution of protons. Proton gradient means unequal distribution of protons. When there is a high concentration of protons in the intermembrane space and low concentration of protons in the mitochondrial membrane, the protons move back into the mitochondrial matrix. When protons are moving back into the mitochondrial matrix, the FGF1 complex synthesizing ATP. This synthesizing of ATP is called as oxidative phosphorylation. That is called chemiosmotic hypothesis. Chemiosmotic hypothesis means when there is a proton gradient in between the two different regions, the protons move back into the lower concentration region, resulting in the synthesis of ATP. That is called as chemiosmotic hypothesis, proposed by, who proposed the chemiosmotic hypothesis? Peter Mitchell proposed. Peter Mitchell. So thank you everybody. This is about the electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation. In this, you have to remember these two. Oxidation of one molecule of FADH to 2 ATP. Oxidation of one molecule of NADH gives rise to 3 ATP. Thank you everybody.